my work 2 years ago and to run the studio and teach yoga and mindfulness and coaching. And I have to make a decision at the end of this year whether I'm going to renew the lease for the studio or not. And their overheads are quite high. And so I'm not exactly sure. I'd like to do more work online with yoga wellness coaching. So bringing wellness coaching and resilience coaching and kind of elements of yoga and mindfulness a little bit more. And I feel quite a lot of resistance around it. It feels like I'm hitting the wall with my head at the moment. So the easier thing was, which is what I did at the beginning of the year, I really promoted one-to-one yoga and mindfulness and the classes and the workshops, which I've been doing for the last few years. And that seems to be going really well. The classes are very busy. You know, I've got 6 people now that just signed in the last few weeks for one-to-ones, which is great. But with the yoga wellness coaching program, which is a 3-month program, it's kind of, I'm feeling resistance around it because it costs more money, and there is a bit within me that is just not, it's kind of resisting.
Okay. How much is your 3 month?
It's £647.
Okay. And at the moment, the 6 clients that you've got one-to-one, what are they paying? What are they paying?
So it depends. So a couple of clients, I did a January special offer 10 for 8. So they paid for 10 sessions £360. I've got another 3 clients that signed up for 6 sessions. So one of them paid £190, the other one paid £260, and the third one paid just over they paid £260 as well.
Okay, so you're not far off from 647, really.
Yeah.
It's a mindset shift, you know that. Yeah. I
know, and I rather than being stuck, I decided to go with the path of least resistance, what felt like I could do to kind of get into the rhythm of it. And then kind of I had a lot of thoughts about the program and why I'm feeling stuck with it and how I can improve it, and the kind of, so over the last couple of weeks, which has been really, really useful. So it feels like it's moving and shifting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and absolutely, it's the right thing to do, just to get comfortable with what you're offering now. And okay, all right. Well, I was going to I just started having this as a conversation to see if anyone else was going to join. But shall we just dive in? I've hit record already, so we might as well just dive in. I don't know who else is joining. So, well, if Annetta, if you're happy to carry on. Just ask those questions just to get an idea of what's going on for you. Oh, Becca's joining. Hi, Becca. Hello. How you doing, Becca? You all right? Can you hear me? She's frozen. Well, I'll let her come in her own time. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Annetta. And you know, we can work on that resistance that you've got. And when you get clear on, I think it's about knowing the outcomes as well and being able to articulate the outcomes. That would help. Don't worry at all, Becca. It's good to see you. So, what's going on then, Annetta? How can I help you? What's your burning question?
So I became aware of something, and this is really, really interesting, because I've been following you and listening to bits, the videos and stuff like that. And I did few business courses over the last couple of years, which was really good. And I realized something, that there is a part of me that really, the part that is kind of resisting doing more online coaching, because there is a part of me that actually disbelieves that you can, or that I can be, you know, earn more money and do what I love, and actually not have to work much harder. Because, you know, the last 6 weeks I have been able to you know, sign up lots of people and work really hard, but I ran myself down into being ill, and that seems to be the pattern for me, where I kind of work a lot, and then, you know, I'm quite successful signing people in and getting the busy workshops, busy classes, but then I pay the price with my energy levels and you know, how I am with my health. So there is a part of me, you know, I hear a lot of people talking about it, that there can be more freedom, and there can be you know, you can work in a different way, but I can't work it out for myself. It doesn't seem to be working in my business, and it hasn't done for the last, you know, 2 years. And working full time, because I worked part time for the last, you know, 8 years on top of my social care job. And yeah, I just became very aware that I think the part that is resisting is the part that is worrying that I will have to work more than I'm working now, which is morning, afternoon, evenings. Sometimes I'm back home at 10 at night, you know, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And it's kind of part, you know, I'm thinking I can't work more hours, I can't do more. So
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to kind of ask you a kind of seemingly off topic question. Just think about, if I could ask you just to think about, you say your top 5 values, those top values that are most important to you. What would they be? What comes off sort of the top of your head? Things like, you know, values. Well, you know what values are.
As a person, or in my business, or both? Or
Well, kind of both. If you're aligned with one, it's how you do anything is how you do everything. So it's really kind of what are your top 5 values that are so that mean the most to you?
I would say integrity would be number 1. Number 2 would be being authentic. Compassion for self, for others. I want to say understanding, in a sense of yes, understanding, I guess, and I guess freedom as well, but freedom not in a, I you know, as a teacher, I see a lot of people traveling around the world, and I like traveling, but I could never, it's not something that I want to do. So freedom for me, in a sense of having time to study, or having time to spend time with my, you know, with my loved ones, going at my own pace, that kind of freedom.
Okay. And so just going back to integrity then, just talk to me in what does integrity really mean for you? How would you define that as a value for you?
It means that what I say and how I present myself is how I am. that I don't pretend that I'm really sorted and really positive and really, you know, like the Instagram pictures of yoga teachers, that kind of stuff. So, and that I lead from the heart, and what I say is in line and in alignment with who I am and what I believe in, and also in alignment with how I relate to somebody else.
And same with same with authenticity. What does that mean for you specifically?
It means that I lead an authentic life, that I do what feels, again, in alignment with myself, rather than the fads around me or what I see other people doing, or like with my teaching. I remember a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, my friend said to me that somebody complained that all there is mindfulness at the studio. And I said to her, and she wanted me to change the name of the classes. And I walked away and thought about this. And I thought, well, I can't do it because that's what I teach and that's who I am and that's what I present. And the same when I do a lot of Facebook Lives. I can't pretend to be somebody else than I am. And neither do I want to, because that was never really what I wanted to do. So that's quite an important one. Or that I create something within my business that is, that is really in alignment with who I am, rather than trying to implement somebody else's business model that really is not working for me.
Okay. And same question for understanding. Oh, sorry, for compassion.
So, yes, so compassion and loving kindness. One of the biggest shifts that I had in my life when I changed my life from before to I took a completely different direction in my life was when I understood that I could actually have compassion for myself, for the mistakes that I made. And that really from there led quite a lot to how I teach, how I relate to people, the kind of trainings that I've done, the kind of offerings that I have, like workshops or classes. It's all around that kind of compassionate and loving kindness approach to ourselves and others.
Okay. And understanding?
So understanding is so for me, understanding is in that space of trying to be with something and seeing it for what it is. Whether I try to do mindful focusing for myself to understand what I'm feeling, what's going on for me, why am I reacting like this, or whether I reflect on somebody else and their behavior, or how I relate to somebody, trying to understand where they're coming from, what's going on for them. So I guess it's about understanding on a slightly deeper level and allowing the space for that understanding, rather than just reacting from that space of not understanding exactly what's going on.
Okay, thank you. And then you mentioned about freedom, as in the freedom to do what you want to do, like study and spend time with your loved ones and go at your own pace, kind of follow your own. Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think, it's not that I think that I want lots of money and not do what I don't do anything. I'm very happy to work, and I'm happy to work a lot. But if I think about my situation at the moment, I know that if I work how I'm working for the next 10 years, I'm gonna be a very tired teacher.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So when you think about the essence of your business, this yoga and wellness, yoga and mindfulness, and the classes, what's the essence of your brand?
I think it's about taking time to slow down, to understand yourself and create more harmony and wholeness in your whole being. So whether it's, you know, to do with food or hydration or mindful movement or yoga or, you know, breathing or meditation, it's all within that compassionate approach, created more harmony and wholeness. And understanding how that impacts the rest of your life. So your relationships, your business, your health, all of that.
Okay. When you think about the things you've just talked about in terms of your height, okay, when we are struggling, when we are in some way kind of frustrated or stuck, or, you know, things aren't oiled and feeling good, and we're aware of some sabotage and limiting beliefs, the kind of the main underpinning of our struggle is that in some area, maybe all areas, we are living out of alignment, out of sync with our core values. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about authenticity and integrity and compassion for self and others, and that freedom to do the things that you want to do, and then the brand of your business about taking the time to slow down, harmony and wholeness, when you think about kind of where you're at in relation to your core values and the things that would keep Aneta running smoothly, where's the conflict? What's creating this conflict?
Well, the conflict is that I am all the time busy. You know, I have got my practice in the morning, and I have got you know, I'm quite mindful about what I do, but I work a lot. So by the end, because I work in 6-week periods in alignment with the term times in UK, it's always, but the end of 6 weeks, I am absolutely smashed. I'm really, really tired.
Okay. So what's creating the busy, this perpetual busy? What's creating it?
I don't know. I guess I feel like I have to be busy. I'm guessing part of it is conditioning of being in social care for 15 years. But it's also because I have got overheads at the studio. So I'm always really, really aware that before I take any money to pay my mortgage or anything else, I have to actually have money to pay for the studio. So it kind of feels like I'm trying to
pedaling like a maniac, like a swan gliding on top, but the legs are going. Okay, right. All right. So you talked about conditioning, which is a really interesting use of the word. So conditioning from past in social care. You said, I feel like I have to be busy. So there's a sense of obligation. Mm. So let me ask you this. Then this it's stressing you out. It's not making you feel good. You can't imagine now how you can transfer this, make this shift into coaching and earn more, because you link this earning more to being more busy, and you can't imagine how you would manage that. So what are you getting out of this?
From the sense of being busy all the time.
Yeah, what's the secondary gain? What are you avoiding, or what's the secondary gain that you are getting out of just creating this situation? Because it's a habit, but you have a habit for a reason. So just diving a little bit deep here.
I guess.
What are you getting out of this busyness?
I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is that with regards to the clients, it's the kind of sense like I'm doing something that is valuable and worth it. And overall, the busyness, I don't know. I guess it feels like I should be doing that. It's the kind of,
You mentioned resistance at the beginning of the call, resistance to charging more.
yes.
How is this busyness protecting you from what it is you're afraid of?
Yes, I guess it is much, much easier to be busy and doing it in here rather than focus on what I need to be doing or what would make the biggest difference and stepping out. It's fear of being judged, fear of being seen in a certain kind of way.
Does that feel true? This fear of being judged and seen in a different way?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's coming up for you?
I feel my stomach going insane.
Go on.
I guess it's, yeah. I guess I don't have anybody around me who's doing it. And so it's kind of feeling maybe that I will be in some way rejected because if I'm doing that kind of stuff, or judged that I'm doing that kind of stuff. So, and it's very interesting because within the, the yoga teaching circles, it's quite heavy, that kind of discussion that really, if you're teaching yoga, maybe you should be doing it for free, or it should be available much cheaper in that kind of way. So there is that real push.
Lots of shoulds.
Sorry?
Lots of shoulds and ought tos.
Yes. Yeah.
No, not necessarily true at all.
No.
Okay.
No.
So your stomach's going insane at the thought of this sense that you could be rejected. You said nobody around me is doing that kind of stuff. What kind of stuff specifically?
Well, doing a lot of entrepreneurial work and being quite successful at it. I know a lot of people who do therapies or teach yoga and stuff like that, but it's all very local kind of work, doing the classes, doing treatments. but not stepping out, for example, into doing like online coaching and stuff like that. So I don't know anybody from my circle who's doing it, apart from one friend who's I work with, and we support each other, which is really, really useful.
So you're kind of breaking out of a normal way of doing things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome to the world of entrepreneurialism.
Thank you.
For a start, because that's what we're all doing. We're turning our experiences, our pains, our learnings into incredible businesses that help other people. So it's that shift in the way you're thinking. Okay, so I just want to ask you, so you've kind of, I think, identified something, that this busyness is serving you, it is protecting you, it's helping you avoid moving forward in doing something that's going to put yourself out there and maybe face some rejection or criticism, but that's all in your imagination. What I want you to do, just for a moment, is I want you to, because this is a belief, a story that you're telling yourself. Just imagine for a moment if you didn't have this belief. Just for a moment, you're going to put this belief down, that this fear that I should be doing this, fear of rejection, I may get criticized. Just put it down for a second. Take a deep breath. You don't have that story anymore. What are you doing? What's happening in your life? Who are you being? What are you doing without that story? Look at that face.
I don't know, it just feels quite free and quite fluid and much more balanced, in a sense that I would not feel that I have to work every single day in a way that I'm working. And maybe taking much more power back in my hands. I've actually decided what it is exactly that I want to be doing, rather than what I think I should be doing.
Who would you be? As in, who would you become without this story?
Somebody who's feeling quite free, I guess. Somebody who can make the decisions that are aligned with the business, within the business or personal life.
Someone who's in integrity, someone who's authentic, someone who has compassion for self and others, someone who is free, someone who's more understanding at a deeper level. You'd be more you, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because at the moment you're wearing all these different masks and hats to please everybody else, and this is a conflict that's making you suffer.
Yeah, it's very interesting because last week I had I didn't work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I saw clients on Thursday and Friday, and did some work on the computer on Saturday, and I felt amazing. I just felt it allowed me to rest, and I did a lot of mindful focusing, so a lot of journaling. I actually felt like I shredded 10 kilos.
Yeah, nice.
Which is not physically possible, but I just felt
so much lighter.
Different. Yeah.
So my suggestion from this conversation is just kind of reflect on what we've talked about, that you've shared with me your values, and we've kind of, I think we've got to a bit of what's been the block, is that there's a secondary gain. Perhaps it's that you do need to feel valued. So by being super busy, that's somehow validating you, which is one thing. Yeah, so you need to journal and work on that. And the other thing is releasing this story that you've got playing around, because it is just a story. But the more you focus on the story, the more you see evidence to back it up. So it can be self-perpetuating. So I would look at how should be doing it easy to be busy. I would start looking at ways of, so this is going into your values of kind of self-compassion, but look at ways to validate yourself. How can you spend two or three things could you start to do on a daily basis that would enable you to just self-validate, so you can start letting go of this need for external validation?
Yeah.
Even if it's, writing a blog every day and putting it out there, and then seeing that as a mark of self-validation. It's just some activities that you can do every single day as a mark of self-validation. And then the other thing I would do is focus your face, just completely relaxed, you smiling from ear to ear. When you talked about what if you didn't have that story, you said I would be free, fluid, balanced, not feeling I have to work every single day. I'd be taking my power back. So that's just some old record you've got playing over. So I would focus on that free, fluid, balanced emotion that you just conjured up, and affirm that, work on that.
Okay.
And we'll keep checking in on it.
Thank
and
you.
let me know
That's
after
really great.
What comes up, what more, because more stuff will come up for you as a result. We've just kind of opened some channels of new ways of thinking. All right, Annette.
Lovely.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sophia, are you on? I've just...
I am now.
Are you having your tea? So Sophia's in Portugal.
Walnuts.
Oh, good girl.
Just some nibbles.
How are you then?
I'm good. Good.
So what's on your mind? What's burning cues?
So I've been doing some rebirthing, like, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've recently moved to Portugal, well, last October sort of thing. So 2017 was a nightmare of a year, in the sense that, not a nightmare that it was amazing because I moved finally to my home country, but it was a nightmare in the sense of my business sort of thing. I put a lot of things in the back burner. I was so busy, like Annette, I was so busy with the move and everything else that I kind of like tried to forget that I had a business.
Yeah.
So it was not good at all, basically, 2017. Now, with the build of my dream home here, and what I want to rebuild completely my business, and my focus now and my niche now, which you've nailed, has put me in that position. Like, I'm going to have to start from zero again, or maybe not from zero, because I've got already things going, like my group program and other things going, but I have to evaluate what I've got and kind of like reduce it so it serves the new niche, which is the female entrepreneur that is still in their 9-to-5 and wants to break free of the 9-to-5. What I was doing previously was more like management, but now I want to create my business in coaching and also the strategy, because I'm mainly a strategist, around digital and online coaching. Okay.
So what's the question?
So yeah, so the question. So the question is now, what is bothering me is, I think I know the answer, really, but
yeah, you do. I know you know the answer.
I think we've talked about this before, and I want to reduce my package for increased social reach, right? As in, just give my group program, okay, which is the 6 weeks program. I want to give a 6 months package, which is the time that it kind of took me to plan my exit from corporate. So what I've used, the techniques I've used, and everything else, and plus things that I've learned when I came out, I want to put all that in a 6 months package.
Nice. Yeah.
And then have like a top up.
Yep. So when she leaves in 6 months, because she'll be all ready to do so, if she needs you, you're still there for the additional support.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So what's the question?
The question is, does that feel good?
To who? To me? To you? Does that feel good?
Yeah, I'm asking that question to myself. I'm asking that question to myself. I'm like coaching myself in some way.
That's all we ever do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joey's sat on my head.
So what it comes up in my head is this. I had so many things going that somewhat were not even working because I had so many products, so many services, right? Yeah. Yes, it does feel good to kind of reduce it. But then we go back to the price resistance.
Let me ask you again. What's the question?
The question is, okay, so the question is, how do I focus to do the packages that I want to do?
How do you focus on the packages that you want to?
Where do I start? Like, do I go and get bits from the old, see what worked?
Okay. Okay. How do you begin to create these packages?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I would suggest first thing I would do when it comes to looking at what you want to create. So the passion statement would be a really good first move, because the passion statement has those statements around where she's at. Without my help, she's la. With my help, she's rah, kind of thing. So it gives you an idea of, you know where she's at, you know the pain. So first thing with creating your offer is to think about, okay, the pains and frustrations, first of all. What are her pains and frustrations? What's the impact of these pains and frustrations? And then what's your solution? So if you had this woman sat in front of you right now, and she was in that pain place, that frustration, she's desperate to leave, but she doesn't know what to do. The first thing to think about is, okay, if I was there, even if you just wanted to, the first thing was a hug, just go really break it down step by step. What's the first thing I would want to say to her? What's the first piece of advice that I would suggest that she needs to do, even if it's go home and get some sleep because we can't work together when you're this kind of stressed out, anything like that, because that would give you almost, and I'm not saying this is your package, but it's almost like, all right, if that would genuinely be your heartfelt first piece of advice, then your first piece of work could look like, first of all, we get your head on straight. First of all, we build your confidence up, and we do that kind of that mindset work, or we do the self-care work. Does that make sense? It's just
Yes.
it comes out as your first desired
Yes.
advice would look like step one of a program.
She's stressed. She's overwhelmed. She's burnt out. She's not thinking straight. Yeah.
So step one would be kind of, all right, let's pick you up, let's brush you down, let's kind of do your hair and make you feel stronger, because you cannot implement the next step until you feel empowered and strong enough. So kind of step one. Then step two is literally, all right, what would you then tell her to do? Create a plan, or decide what she wants to do for a business, or, you know, it depends on where she's at when she comes to you.
Yeah.
You've got your main structure. So it's literally, all right, if most programs, if you're looking at a 6 month, you would suggest, right, well, let's have 6 core steps that I will guide you through. When I look at, kind of, we talked about this before, didn't we? When you, and this would be useful for you, Annetta, is when you think about your ideal client and you're creating these steps, and you take her from her A to her B, her desired outcome. So you create the steps. One really useful way to think about how to market this program, or how to start kind of thinking it in terms of communication, is the power of 3. So I know you know this, Sophia, but the power of 3 is a psychological concept that states that we can best take information in when it's presented in blocks of 3. If we're given pieces of information in 2s, we feel shortchanged. If we get information in 4 and plus, suddenly we stop listening and we've only taken in 3 pieces of information. So when you listen to a news reader, they'll say, welcome to the 9 o'clock news. I'm such and such. Our first story is, stop. Then we'll be talking about story 2, 3, and 4. Stop. So they present in 3s because that's how our brains work. And they say, you know, you think about all our nursery rhymes, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, 3 Wise Men, you know, it's all in 3s. So to this end, when you think about your program that you want to create, figure out the 3 headline outcomes that you know your ideal client wants, and that whatever other outcome she'll get as a result of working with you, it will fit into any one of those 3 main headline outcomes. So, you know, my example would be clarity, confidence, and clients. And it doesn't matter what other words come up for what my ideal client wants, it will fit into any one of those 3 headings. Clarity of niche, clarity of direction, folks, all of that, clarity of thinking, she doesn't want limiting beliefs, all of that goes under clarity or confidence. So you think about your 3 headline outcomes that your woman wants. So Sophia, what would they sound like?
I've got, at the moment, I've got plan, strategy, and action roadmap. I used to have, and I keep on going back in the past, I used to have plan, do, review.
Yeah. So stop going in the past because you're looking forward now. So plan, strategy, and roadmap, they all feel like the same thing. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to suggest that one of the people buy emotion. People buy emotionally. They may justify it through logic. They think they're being logical in a purchase decision, but whenever you buy a pair of shoes, or you buy a chocolate bar, or you buy anything, a coaching program, it's an emotional purchase. How is this going to make me feel? How is this going to stand me above my neighbors? How is this car going to look in my drive? What prestige is it going to provide me? So we buy emotionally. So plan, strategy, and action roadmap. What does that mean for her?
Probably not a lot, isn't it? Being too technical.
No, it does. it means a lot to her, but what does it mean? What would it mean for me to have a strategy, a roadmap, a plan? All sounds really...
Well, for me, the plan is to like pinpoint what she wants and where she's at and where she wants to be.
So it feels like clarity, a sense of direction, focus. Yeah. So, okay. So once she's got that, what next?
Then will be to look at who she wants to target, who she wants to work with, who makes her heart sing, who will get out of bed every day. Let's go and find them. Once we understand who they are, where are they hanging out? Where
and is that your strategy piece?
It could be a strategy, yeah.
Yes, but you've said plan, strategy, and roadmap. So the plan is what?
Yeah.
Where she's at. She's going.
I think if we scrap the roadmap at the end, with launch.
Okay.
Because that's what she wants to do. She wants to break free of their 9 to 5. She wants to create the foundations. She wants to have everything in place. So when she's ready, she's going to launch.
So she wants freedom.
Freedom of their 9 to 5, of that routine, of that being put down every single day by their execs.
She wants freedom. What else does she want?
She wants time to travel. She wants time to spend with the kids. She wants time for herself, self-care. She wants to have that time.
What else does she want? That's anything else other than freedom?
She wants to have a successful business. She wants to be recognized. She wants people to refer her. She wants to be visible. Visibility. Yeah. Big one. Yeah. She wants to be visible. She doesn't know how to be visible.
Okay. Yes. So that's a kind of funneling it down, but we want to chunk it up. So you've got freedom, and under freedom is all of those things you talked about: time for family, time for self-care, and it's getting away. So you've got your heading towards freedom, and then you've got your moving away from freedom, but it all comes under the heading of freedom, doesn't it? And moving away from freedom is freedom of freedom from planning boring meetings, freedom from being employed. So one of your headings sounds like freedom. The next one, you said she wants to run a successful business. She wants to be recognized. She wants to have a status. She wants to be an expert. She wants to be seen as an expert, doesn't she? She wants to be seen as an expert and not being seen as second class citizen because she's a girl. Yeah. Okay, so somehow she wants, so you can play with the words here, but I'm getting a sense that she wants to be the boss. She wants to be empowerment, freedom, empowerment. These are all really juicy desires, aren't they? And empowerment would embody a successful business, being recognized for who she is, having status, being the boss of her own life, being seen as the expert, owning her power.
Yeah.
What else does she want?
I was going to say empower her children. She wants to be an inspiration for her children. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And for young generations, I suppose.
So what would that sound like?
It sounds. It's.
What word would that would resonate with her?
Inspiration, guidance. No. Authority. Nah. Not authority. No. Don't know. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. What's kicking
Inspiration.
Some kind of nurturing word, but I think this is something you can think about offline, because you think about what you've achieved. Think about where you're at in terms of you're now in Portugal. You've done this incredible thing for your children. You've got freedom now. You do what you want. You've gone home. Oh, look at his tail. My daughter's hair. Look at his tail. Go see Rebecca then. So you think about what you have achieved.
It's not nurturing. I want them to learn with their mistakes. I want to guide them, but I don't want to be controlling them.
No.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. But think about your ideal client in terms of, because I understand what you're saying, but
yeah. I need to go back.
It almost comes under empowerment or freedom, because when you're empowered, then you are leading. You're the example. You're being the mother you want to be. But I would think about this offline. That plan, strategy, and action roadmap. They're all kind of great outcomes, but what do they actually mean for your ideal client? What would a plan mean for her? What would having a roadmap mean for her? It means she's got a focus to become free. A strategy means that she's empowering herself. She's taking action. So it's really looking at what are the payoffs, the emotional payoffs of what you provide. So I would suggest then for your program is, as we've said, think about what would be the step-by-step process. Put everything you've done last year to one side, because you can pull it back out, but you need to create your brand new framework first, because otherwise you're going to get distracted by what you've created before. So imagine this is a rebirth, brand new business, step by step. Your new ideal client is the entrepreneur in her 9-to-5. Stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed, doing a 9-to-5 that she hates, with minimum hours on an evening to try and master what she's trying to master. So you come in at that burnt out stage, or that tipping point of burnout. What would you do step by step to get her from her A to her B? Yeah. And then when you have that plan in place, think about, so what are the actual outcomes that she wants? What does that point B give her? Gives her freedom, gives her a sense of complete empowerment. She'll feel amazing because she's achieved this incredible thing, and she can fire her own boss, like your aunt said. So I would work at it that way.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the 6-week versus the 6 month, what outcome is she going to get in 6 weeks? What's that quick win that she's going to get versus the 6 months, which is the full Monty package?
Yeah. Full Monty, I like that. 6 month full Monty intensive.
Yeah. without the
I
strip.
do. Okay. So I don't even consider the top ups because that's like.
Don't worry about them yet. Get the basics done.
So group program versus 1-to-1, 6 months. The 6 months is 1-to-1.
Yeah.
The 6 weeks is a group program.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the outcome of the 6 weeks, and where is she coming in to the 6 weeks from? And why would she take? Yeah. So it's got to be, where is she at? Why would she buy the 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I feel very, very clear on where she's at on the 6 month, but the 6 week, I don't know.
No. Yeah.
So it's about articulating that.
Yeah. I know what you mean now. I might have to rethink the 6 weeks one because that's like my old one. And my old one was not focusing on 9 to 5.
No.
No.
The other consideration with a group program is, when you're going to run it. Is it going to be in the evenings when your ladies have finished
Exactly. Exactly, because I'm like targeting people that are still in their job,
Yeah.
So they can't. And then I've got the time zone as well. If I'm targeting America, US, and do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, I would have to run it in the evening.
Yeah. So it might be that you think about, okay, so I've got a group program for the US ladies and a group program for the UK.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to get very complicated.
Yeah, that could be. I could separate US and UK.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Or you could do, I don't know how you feel about a Saturday work, Saturday.
So I used to work like 24/7 and weekends. I'm trying. I understand where you're coming from because they are online during the weekends because they can't be during the week, sort of thing. My objective is to educate them that they need time for their families as well.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a huge thing of yours. That's one of your highest values.
Yeah. That's why I stopped the weekends. Yeah. But now I'm going back there and thinking, oh God, where they act and where they normally are online is on the weekends and specific hours. And
how much are you charging for your 6 months?
That's what I haven't even calculated that because it's brand new.
Okay, all right, don't worry about that then. Create the program first. Fall in love with it first, and then you can decide how much you want to charge for it, how much you need income-wise per month.
Yeah.
How much feels good.
So I'm going to look into the 6 core steps.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask the question, what do they actually mean? What does it mean for her? The 3 headline outcomes, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'll play I'll do the replay as well. So if I missed anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does. It does.
Strategy, action. What do those 3 things actually mean for her? Why does she want?
Cool.
Helpful?
Yeah, very, very, very.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. I think Becky got distracted by the children coming in, didn't she? Suddenly disappeared. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening. And like I say, both of you, any questions that come up, just post them in the group. Yeah, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it.
Cool.
All right, ladies.
I'll see you soon.
Bye for now. Bye.